Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Elixir Specialty Coffee. Head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com and grab, if you're in Canada, we now ship there. So grab an Elixir Trio, get it shipped to Canada, and we'll get you an extra Elixir Trio that's a 3-pack for absolutely free. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, we are talking about trademarking and securing your IP. Now, this is a process that I have been going through for the last, my lawyer informed me today, it's been 13 months. So 13 months into the process and we're not done yet. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about my experience of the process of securing a trademark, but I also wanted to talk about why it's important and why we're going to the trouble of making sure that this is happening, and what are some of the the roadblocks that have gotten in the way for us. Before I do say anything, I just want to say and remind people, I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is not anything in any way meant to give you any kind of legal advice from any stretch. So I just want to preface things. This is me purely talking about my experience of trying to secure a trademark. So why are we going to the trouble of securing a trademark? Because it's important to own these kinds of assets. It's important to the value of your company. It's important to protect your own branding so that nobody steals it and uses it. It's important to protect the way that customers think about your product. So for us, we're in a situation where we have gone and put in a trademark for the mark of Elixir Specialty Coffee. So it's our logo and it is the words Elixir Specialty Coffee underneath the logo, and all of that forms as a part of our logo. And it's on our bottles, it's on everything that we do. And so we put that in, and that was contested by another company in the US, and they are claiming that there is the opportunity for confusion between our brands. Now, I don't see how that's possible, but that doesn't matter if I don't see how it's possible or whether they think it is possible. At the end of the day, the trademark board will make a decision about whether there's any chance of confusion, that the average person would see a confusion between those two things. So we're in a dispute, and what we're trying to do at the moment is to come to some sort of a coexistence agreement, because, I don't want to rack up lawyers' fees and he doesn't want to rack up lawyers' fees. And I happen to be represented by two wonderful lawyers. My lawyer in Australia, shout out to Karim, and my new lawyer here in the US, shout out to Larry. If anybody needs a trademark attorney, I have to hook you up with this awesome guy. He is, get this, he wanted to meet with me for breakfast today because Larry wanted to look me in the eye and get to know me. He wasn't charging me for that time. He just wanted to have breakfast today and get to know the kind of client that I am. And he's a dear, dear, lovely older gentleman who has a lot of the same kinds of values as I do with regards to business. But he was just intent on having breakfast, having a conversation and understanding the situation from me, not over the phone. And it was just lovely to connect like that with someone who is going to be representing me. A couple of things that I have received value from with regards to stating some things up front with him. My company isn't loaded by any stretch. We don't have money to pour on lawyers. And going into this, and some of you may be wondering, like, isn't it expensive to trademark? It can be very expensive to trademark if we get into this kind of a situation where somebody contests the trademark. So I went into this and I was forced, we've been advised by the trademark board that I had to get counsel in country, even though we lodged the trademark from Australia. So what is really important in this kind of a situation is to just be really clear and openly communicate the situation to your lawyer and say, listen, I'm not made of money and I don't want to be wasting my time and your time and money on things that we don't have to be wasting time and money on. I have other bills that I need to pay, and I just need you to know that you need to be really frugal with the time that you spend on this. And I learnt how to do that from a lawyer that I had to hire earlier this year for a situation with, and I've spoken about it on the podcast before, I don't want to bore you with it, but it was another absolute badass lawyer, Madeline Cahill, and she was fantastic. She was a pit bull when it came to negotiating the situation. Now, lawyers get a lot of bad raps, and there are a lot of shitty lawyers out there, but I tell you something, these two people have made my life better. I feel more protected, and they make sure that nobody's going to fuck with me or my company. And they make sure, because I believe that I chose the right people, they were recommended to me. So it's not like I went out there and looked for them. I went out there and asked people who I trusted, hey, I need someone that can help me with a trademark dispute. And I need somebody who can help me with this other workplace employee situation. And both of them have done great, and I will in a heartbeat hire them again, and in a heartbeat would recommend them to people. And I found them through a friend. Shout out to Len Geiger, who always has my back with this stuff. But anyway, getting back to things, I was able to communicate with Larry and tell him we don't have a lot of money to spend on legal fees, and the other party and I, the owner of the company, we both want to sort this out super quickly. But the other party's legal team is looking to milk lots of fees. And so when I explained that situation to Larry, he's like, let's try and just get it sorted out. We want to get it done and dusted. And what happens now is that we'll just keep trying to get the situation to what's called a coexistence agreement. So if somebody does dispute your trademark or your trademark application, what ends up happening is that you can enter into what's called a coexistence agreement, where you both agree to exist with your own individual marks, your trademarks, and not like you'll agree not to destroy the other person's business or create any kind of situation in that realm. So that's what we're working towards. Once the trademark is secured, what that means is that nobody can, at least in the regions that we're going to secure the trademark, nobody can imitate or try to imitate my brand. And we're the first people in the world to create this product. And that's why it is super important for us to own the IP, the intellectual property behind this logo. It's important because then we can breathe easy when it comes time to sell the company and know that, well, we're passing on a trademark, a registered trademark, as a part of the assets of what we're selling to somebody who is buying the company. And, that is something that is a part of the exit strategy for Elixir. And so as Mapper Forward grows and Elixir grows, a decision will eventually need to be made. And I'm giving us as a company the best possible outcome by ensuring that all of these assets are secured well in advance of us looking to sell the company. And so if you are looking for an exit strategy, you should, as soon as you can, start looking to secure your intellectual property as in as many regions around the world as you can. And different regions have different rules. In some regions, it's the first to trademark. In other regions, it's the first to market. So you'll have to prove that you have owned the trademark longer. Well, you've been operating with that trademark longer than anybody else. And so get in touch with a trademark lawyer, do some research online. And if you have any questions or need any kind of feedback about what my experience has been like beyond this, feel free to write something in the comments below and I'm happy to answer it. Again, no legal advice. I don't know anything about the law. That's why I pay people to protect me. Just before we get done, this is the second last Daily Coffee Pro for 2019 and the decade. Tomorrow we have the super awesome Cosimo Libardo coming on the podcast, and that will be the last Map Forward podcast for the year. And then we do the last Daily Coffee Pro on Friday. I'm doing this because, firstly, I need to have some chill time. It won't really be chill time. It'll be kind of chill time from having to make sure that I do this every day, and I'll be working on just tying things up for this year and getting ready for next year. And the other thing is, a lot of people have asked, like, I need time to catch up with the podcast. And so the rest of December and the first couple of weeks of January is going to be your time to catch up on the podcast. We have some wonderful conversations coming. So check out the podcast tomorrow with Cosimo, and peace, love and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.